Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are after market close on Tuesday, August 22nd. We're going to take a look at Palantir. So I put out a couple polls, one on YouTube, one on Twitter, to see what folks wanted for the two videos I was going to make tonight, and Palantir came in second, so here we are. Now, Palantir, as I had made a video last week, I guess it was putting in a couple of days of this uptrend, and we're looking to see if it was going to fall out or if it was going to wedge out up here. Obviously, it fell through and couldn't hold that 1505 level, and then a big dip a few days ago, and this over 8% down day, putting it back into the mid 14s here, even dipping down into the 13s here. But it's holding these levels relatively well. So even though it's walking down and now starting to walk back up, it is respecting these daily levels really well. This was sort of like no man's land, and if it spent much more time here, we could have put in some levels based on this previous sweeping action. But it's out of there now. So if it falls back down into this 1346 to 1441 space, then we can put in some additional levels there. But right now, it established over the 1441. Today made a run at the 1505, rejected off of it, and situated itself here at 1468. So I'm happy with those levels at the moment. Now, I was looking at this earlier today, and I thought there might be something kind of interesting here on the 10 minutes to put in. You see, there might be a level developing here. What I'm looking at is this topping out a couple days ago, and then this sort of multi-top, which really sort of constructed a double top, right? 1, 2, sell off. And then today, after this push, this attempt to hold 15, and it shoved off, it shoved right back down into that range. So it's pretty close to capturing all of those things. So if we put that in, I don't know why this keeps disappearing, but it's really annoying. So okay, I'll do it over here. Put that in right about there, 1463. Now I'm going to dash it because this is on a lower time frame. So just to sort of delineate it from those solid blues or from the daily time frame, I tend to trust those more. But those dashes, those could develop into a solid line over time. It's just that it hasn't had enough relative price action there in recent history. But on this lower time frame, we can see there that it seems to very clearly be respecting it. Oh, even back here and back there. So I hadn't even looked back that far. So there might be something developing there that's worth keeping an eye on, 1463, and that's obviously very close into where we are now. So that might be where tomorrow's price action hinges on. Is it going to establish over that level and confirm a floor there, in the pre-market or very soon after open, or is it going to lose it, make another attempt back at it and reject off, and then sort of start a bit of a downtrend at that point? Don't know, but we'll see. If it loses that battle tomorrow, 1441 is the next one I'd look for it to hold. And then, like I said, we'd have to put in some levels. Aside from that, probably right about the $14 mark, unless the daily looks a lot different. Let's see. We can just sort of call it out now without putting it on the chart, as to not sort of super clutter anything up. Oh, I was going to look at this sweep right here. So yeah, on the 10-minute, it looks a little bit under 14. On the daily here, it looks a little bit over 14. So I would tend to speculate that it's probably just that psychological $14 level. So again, if it loses 1441 and is heading south tomorrow, I would look at that $14 level to see if that can hold any price action. If not, we still have 1346 in there. And kind of go from there. But if it does push up 1505, or 15 may just be, again, the psychological level. And it's put in some nice action here, just shy of 1550. It's like 1542, 43, where if it does push above that 15 and starts to head towards 16, that might be where it gets a little sticky. just shy of 1550. All right, let's see what's happening on thinkorswims. We're on the daily here as well. Now, still pretty low in the channel, kind of shrugging off this mid-low bound. You see it dipped itself out, and now typically this is a motion where it could be trying to trend itself back to the midline of the channel, which is 1589 at the moment, but that changes as the channel and price action shifts. So we'll see. Bearish momentum seems to sort of still be picking up, although RSI is rising, so those are kind of at odds at the moment. So we'll see what happens as those things sort of sort themselves out in the day and days ahead. But, you know, nothing preventing interchannel movements in either direction at the moment. But if it does want to head back toward that mid-range, that could sort of give it that attempt at the mid-15 level that we just put in, maybe even, you know, if it's a really good push toward that 16 level. If not, the lower bound of the channel sitting just under 14. So again, these sort of like following the levels that we just put in, where right around that $14 range might be the next sort of support that's developed, and that would sort of be echoed by the channel as we see it here. I was thinking, oh, so we can get rid of this uptrend. I wonder if I will jinx it if I move it here and say, can we hold this? That'll be the question. So we'll see if I jinxed it, maybe. Sorry, bulls, if that's the case. The only other thing I would mention is these are very top-heavy wicks, right? So every time that they try to stretch up, sort of getting pushed back down, and you know, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to retreat in price, but something to keep an eye on if the bulls keep sort of continuously petering out as it's trying to push through. That said, there's been quite volatile price action in both directions, so it obviously has the opportunity for motion either way. I mean, here you see a, you know, it's probably a hammer-ish candle. People get very, very caught up in like exact measurements on hammery stuff, but you know, obviously that didn't result in an uptick. You see a top-heavy wick here that then sort of led to several days of selling. So, you know, this top heavy sort of sideways action. So there you go, full gamut. Yes, no, sideways. But yeah, I try not to get too caught up in those, but I do think it is worth noting that, like, are the bulls just sort of repeatedly losing their oomph as it tries to approach that $15 level? And if so, does that mean that it's going to give it up at some point and just not be able to hold it? I don't know, but obviously something to watch. All right, folks, I hope that your trading week is off to a good start. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.